Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Slam Talks SuperCoach. I am Slam naturally. Well, I wouldn't be Slam Kilpatrick, at least not on Easter weekend. And I'm here to talk about my SuperCoach side and how we've been traveling over the last couple of weeks. There's been no SuperCoach episode because I've been busy making TikToks, losing bets, looking at my SuperCoach side and hiding from the world because it has been too bad. But finally, I've had some good scores. I've cracked the top 5K in AFL SuperCoach. Let's have a quick look at my side and how we are traveling so far. Now, last week, we got about, 240? Not bad. Finally in the top 5K. And I think the reason why I've slowly improved is because I haven't done any truly dumb shit, like trading Connor Rozee or trading Jason Horne-Francis or Max Gawn or Harry Sheezel. You got to stay the course. You pick these players for a reason. You pick them to be long-term keepers. You don't trade them after 2 rounds because someone had a couple of good scores like a Joel Frazier and think, oh, okay, this guy's a star. I've never had him on my radar before. I better trade Horne-Francis or Rozee or Sheezel to him. That's not how this game works, people. Just don't do that type of stuff. Listen to me, you'll come top 50,000, which is what you want, and then slowly but surely your side will improve. I can't guarantee that, I'm just talking out my ass. Now look at my side right now, backline strong, Sheezel, Clark, Dale, all should be top liners or at least top teners. Roberts, O'Sullivan, Bice, Trainer, Reed. Well, the bottom 5 there, they're making money, they're doing their job. Roberts' role has changed significantly since Bice has come in. I mean, I say significantly in that he doesn't have a majority of the kick-outs, never did really with Blakey there, but he doesn't have a lot of first-use possessions or have a lot of those kicks that are clearing the D50, which is why his average has gone from 111 down to 98. He could be a potential trade option in a couple of weeks, but he had 25 touches on the weekend against Collingwood. It was the 7 turnovers which really hurt his score. So I wouldn't be looking to get rid of Roberts just yet. In terms of my whole side, we've got this whole ethos or this whole collective thought to not move your premiums just yet. Because upgrade season, while it probably started this round, I think there's some truly great bargains on the horizon over the next couple of weeks. So I'd rather have my war chest. Do what Liverpool did over the last 12 months. Get a lot of money for those players and then cash in a year's time or cash in 6 months' time. But in SuperCoach terms, we're cashing in a week's time. We're spending more money than FSG ever will. My midfield, it is pretty strong. I say that owning Lachie Neale, Clayton Oliver, and Finn Callaghan. But Brayshaw has been a revelation this year in SuperCoach, one of my top picks. Adam Chera has been a very good selection, averaging 106. I think his best average before that was 104. So he's done his job magnificently. He just needs to make money for the first 2 months of the season and hold up his end of the bargain. Oliver, we all own. He's been a big disappointment. We're hoping with some softer matchups on the horizon he can capitalise, but I wouldn't be holding my breath. Lachie Neale, he averages 93. He's gone wild against West Coast. He's gone wild against Richmond, and he's struggled mightily against everybody else. If you didn't own Lachie Neale, I think next week or the week after might be the time to get in one of the greatest SuperCoach players of all time. The people that started him, they've been burnt, but it doesn't mean you need to hold a set against him or a grudge against him for the rest of the season. He is truly one of the best players to ever touch a football in SuperCoach terms. Rest of my midfield, Finn Callaghan, I started with him. He started so strong. He's tailed away significantly in the last couple of weeks. I would not be trading Callaghan this week purely because it looks like he's bottomed out already. At 414,000, what do you stand to gain by moving him on? If he can pop a couple of hundreds out there, he's going to make it another 50, 60 grand, and then you consider moving him on, not this week. My other players, the mid-prices or the rookies I've picked, it's been a mixed bag. It's been when you go to the show, you get your Birdie Beatles, good value for money, but you might get a WWE bag, or you might get, a Hot Wheels or a Piping Hot bag, and you think, what's this crap? I paid $30 for this, it'll break as soon as I use them. Ryan Maddock has been good for the first 2 weeks. He's been good, not great. And Dreamer McGovern returns this week, which is what I suspected. Why is it, similar to the LA Lakers, everyone brings their players back to play Essendon? You've got Tim Kelly coming back after not doing anything in the Rezzies. You've got Jeremy McGovern coming back after being 1 to 2 weeks with a groin when he's, 33 years old. Everyone wants to beat the Bombers. It's just sickening. And such is the case, Ryan Marrick's scoring potential will drop over the next couple of weeks, I think, due to Jeremy McGovern being in the side. But he has made you a little bit of money, and he's one to potentially move on over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Little Levi Ashcroft, my boy, the man I didn't start with but quickly corrected to get back in. He's averaging 74 points with a big 90 on the weekend. There is cash coming, and he's deservedly the favourite for the Rising Star. He is going to be a hold for at least the next 2 to 3 rounds. Now move on to the players that could be facing the axe. Yeah, so I was an axe murderer. These would be my favourite targets. Elijah Sardas pushed out of the side, even though he was healthy last weekend. And it looks like Brad Scott will favour Will Setterfield, Sam Durham, Zach Merritt, among others in his midfield. And Elijah Sardas is not top billing right now, which is why I would be inclined to trade him for a player like Tom Gross or Cleary, just because you're going to make 80 grand and have a player who's actually going to be on the field, and you can then use that money to upgrade elsewhere. Similar to Xavier Lindsay, I think I'll be holding Lindsay right now, just because he's got a bad score from his sub-affected game 2 weeks ago. Once it comes out of his 3-round average, there is money to make, I think, and his job security is rock solid on a struggling Melbourne side. But I would not be saying you can't trade him this week if you had some upgrade plans in mind. Christian Moraes, who I called Moraes, I think he might be better as a Moraes. When he was Moraes, for me, he only averaged about 35 points. He's all right. He's doing his job. He'll make money slowly. He looks to be pretty secure in Port Adelaide's side, so I wouldn't be getting rid of him just now. But really, when you got other players like Sardis and Jack Henderson, who really are not going to make you any more money in the short term because they're either dropped or not playing in the side, or they're playing and scoring 13 points, which is what we saw from Jack Henderson in Gather Round. I will most likely be trading Sardis and Henderson this week, just because the cash generation does not appear to be imminent. Move on to the rucks. Maxi Gawn, 145 points. Great to see the great Gawn return back to form, with the best ruckman in SuperCoach history. And Tom De Koning, who scored 118 points despite having about 15 touches and 10 or so hit-outs to advantage. He appears to be the new SuperCoach darling of 2025. I have no idea how he scored those amount of points. I will thankfully take them with both hands. My bench, Harry Boyd, might play this week. Who knows? He's not in Saints' immediate plans. And we'll move forward to my forward line, which, by the way, was something I was unsure of going into the season, but now looks absolutely rock solid. Now, let's not distract us from the fact that I build model homes in Iraq, but we look rock solid in our forward line with Horne-Francis, McRae, and Bailey Smith. Horne-Francis, if you traded him, you're a dum-dum. I mean, you're not stupid. You just did a dumb move. Jack McRae, we all own. He copped some attention from GWS, which we don't think will happen most weeks, but it did lower his score, and a lot of people captained him last week, so they'll be frustrated with that one. And Bailey Smith, he looked magnificent against Adelaide on Thursday night. He just goes from strength to strength each week. If you started with him, well done. If you got him in after his 1 week calf injury, also well done. He's a player you must own for this season in your forward line, just due to the brilliant role he's got and the fact the Cats are constantly looking to get him the football whenever they can. Then we've got Caleb Daniel, averaging 116. He's must own. Don't need to say too much. Everyone owned Caleb Daniel. Sam Davidson is one to monitor for this week. A lot of people have traded him out. Still averaging 71. We saw him drop 100 only a few weeks ago against Carlton. I personally would not be moving him on unless you've got some grand plan to bring in a high price premium or a fallen premium who you think will significantly raise the ceiling of your week-to-week scores. I just think Davidson has a nice role and could drop another couple of 80s, which would restart his cash generation and bring another 30, 40 grand, which is what I'm looking for. And then finally, I've got Pal Pepper and Bailey Humphrey. Pal Pepper, I saw live in person. He was attached to James Sicily like a leech for most of the night in his head, giving away free kicks, and also hitting the scoreboard was Sam Pal Pepper, a nice 100 points. He gets his scores from goals and from tackles and from pressure acts, which lead to tackles and goals, of course. So Pal Pepper, rough start, terrible against Collingwood in round 1. He's responded quite strongly over the last couple of rounds. He's going to make you some nice cash for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And as a tasty matchup with North Melbourne at home next week. And finally, my man, the Bear, Humphrey. I know it is not winter yet in Melbourne, but I think Bear Humphrey has gone into hibernation early. He has not cracked 90 for me, despite the fact he still averages 90. I've had him for 2 rounds. Disappointing against the Gold Coast Suns. Disappointing against the Adelaide Crom. Disappointing on the weekend again against North Melbourne. Not terrible scores, but not what we brought him in for. He's likely going to be traded to a premium in a week's time. Now, that's my shitty side. I've discussed the rookies that we should be looking to bring in. I think number 1 would be Cleary from the Sydney Swans, just because he's getting a few CBAs, he's getting tackles, pressure axed, handball received. He's got all the things you'd want from a Supercoach player. And on the more even positive side, you've got Callum Mills still injured, you've got Tom Papley still injured, and you've got Errol Goulden still injured. They don't play the same role necessarily, but they're 3 of their very best players and 3 best 18 players. So the fact they're all out for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks with Mills and Papley beyond that, and Goulden for at least another couple of months, it just increases the job security of someone like Cleary, because you don't have a star, which all 3 of those are. 3 All-Australian stars knocking down the door like Martin Luther, nailing down a thesis saying, bring me back in the team. No, Cleary seems secure for at least the next couple of weeks, and he's very cheap. Number 2 would be Tom Gross from the West Coast Eagles. He scored, 80-odd on the weekend. Looked good against Carlton, who actually don't give up a lot of possessions to midfielders. I think they're second last or last in terms of possessions against. So the fact he had, in the teens for touches, kicked a goal, looked lively, he would be one I'm looking to bring in this week. So if I was to trade out Sardis and to trade out Jack Henderson, it would be Gross and Cleary who are the 2 I'm getting in. I think this is a good week for rookies and a good week to downgrade and not just go wild thinking I need to get the most high-priced premium possible. I need to get Rosie in just because he scored 130. I mean, Connor Rosie is sub 500k. I understand that. He's a good price if you want to bring him in. But Zach Butters is arguably the best midfielder in Supercoach, not named Marcus Bontempelli, who returns this weekend also on Sunday. So I would not be looking to get Rosie if I didn't own him. If you've owned him and you held the course, well done. He's going to look pretty good. He might even get a halfback or a defensive status, which would be fantastic. But I'm not looking to get him in. Not when Zach Butters exists. Not when Horn Francis is in most sides. He was only a great selection to me when Butters was out. I don't know if all 3 can score wildly and if I want 3 Port Adelaide players when I don't see them as the top 8 team. But that's just my opinion. It's time for the big question. We all know what the big question this week is. No one started with him unless you're the most ardent, teeth-missing, brain cell deficient Collingwood supporter. Like, you wouldn't own him. It's Nick Daicos. It's the best player in Supercoach, maybe, besides Bont. It's the best player in the league, maybe, besides Bont. Do we get him this week? Do we get Nick Daicos? He's about 580,000. His break-even is in about 120. He just went off against Sydney despite copping a James Jordan tag. Is now the time for Whisper Nicky Daicos. I personally am not getting him tonight because I've got upgrade plans for next week. I don't want to use my 3rd boost already. I've got 30 trades in the bank. I think Nick will be a great trade-in for me next week as long as he doesn't go bananas against Brisbane. And if he does, I'll probably still get him anyway because he plays Essendon, who he kills every single season. Okay, he's got a great record against the Bombers, particularly on Anzac Day. Now, I would not say don't bring in Nick. If you've got a bunch of money sitting there, you want to get rid of a mid-pricer, like if you want to get rid of Davidson, or you want to get rid of like Sardis, or Henderson, or Lindsay, or even Moraes, and thought, well, I've got 400k to spend here, I'm getting Nick Daicos. That's fine. That's not the wrong call. You're going to have another 100 points probably from that trade. Just personally, I've got a lot of mid-price crap in my team. Not crap, that's probably too strong. I've got a lot of recyclables that potentially be turned into a very fine midfield premium in a week's time. I've got Ryan Marrick, I've got Bailey Humphrey, I've got Adam Chera, I've got Finn Callahan. I don't want to trade any of them right now. I think you're going okay. I think Sam Davidson looks pretty all right now. I think Connor O'Sullivan is doing just enough to stay in my side. But I know in a week's time, someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get dropped, or someone's going to put up an absolute stinker for my team. And they're the one. They're the one that becomes Nicky. Whisper Nicky Daicos will become one of those players in a week's time. But I want to wait one more week. I want to exercise caution and calm. If you're playing long-term league play, even overall play, you don't need to be on it every single week. I need the premium now. I need to use my trades now. Sure, that might be the prevailing strategy to climb the ranks, but I've climbed the ranks slowly but surely, not flipping out, not trading away premiums, and not going all in, balls in on a boost or a triple trade or a midfield premium every week. I've exercised caution. My team's all right. I know if you're watching this, your team's not absolutely diabolical, okay? Because then you wouldn't be caring about SuperCoach. You'd be listening to, I don't know, Blink-182 or Tate McRae. You wouldn't be watching a SuperCoach show. Your team's doing okay. So let's just calm. As long as Nick doesn't drop 135 against Brisbane tonight, you're going to be okay. He gets 120, Sam Davison gets 80, he made money, Nick doesn't change in price. You can then flip whoever you want next week, okay? And we'll know a little bit more. I love data. As you can see, I'm a fantasy nerd. I want to see more data. I want to see teams in good matchups. Brisbane is not a good matchup for Nick. I mean, Nick's had some really good games in the past. He dominated against Brisbane at the Gabba a couple of years ago. He also played really well last year against Brisbane on the MCG. He was magnificent, kicked 2 of the best goals you'll ever see. I'm not saying that he's not going to get 150. Like, it's very possible, but Brisbane at the Gabba is a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for anyone. They are the best team in the comp. They've got the deepest midfield in the comp. A 130 is not a layup. It's not a certainty. So I think if it makes sense, if your team's balance is looking okay, you don't have to get Nick tonight. I mean, there's other players you could get. I mean, you could get Ned Long. People are asking me, is it Ned Long time? I personally am not a Ned Long backer now at 280,000. At 200,000, I was his biggest supporter. I out there with the pom-pom saying, Longy! I loved Ned Long a couple of weeks ago, but Fly McRae kept making him the sub. So what am I to do? I cannot pick a player that is the sub, which shows to me his job security isn't rock solid. I like him. I think McRae likes him, but it's not rock solid, which makes it difficult to pick him because he could be sub in 2 weeks' time. And then what are we doing? We have barely made any money. Now Daicos comes back tonight as well. It has to affect him, even if it's a slight role change. It has to affect him. So therefore, I'm not picking Ned Long right now as it stands. I'm not picking Nick Daicos. It's a tough matchup. It's Easter Thursday. I don't want to ruin my weekend. I want to sit there eating oysters, eating kingfish, eating salmon, eating fish patties, and not think about, oh, shit, why did I pick Daicos? He got 111. That's not good enough. Oh, damn it. Why did I pick Ned Long? He got 80. Pies lost by 20. He might even play midfield next week. They might put in some Joe Blow like Ed Allen. Who knows? Personally, not my call that I would make to bring in a pie tonight, even though I think the fixture opens up. They've got a good matchup next week. I'll be looking to do it next week just because you get rid of the interstate game. Pies have one away game, I think, in the next 10 weeks, which is West Freo away on a Thursday night. Not that difficult a matchup, I think, for a midfielder. So I'll just be exercising caution unless you're sitting on a bunch of money and you're struggling and you need to climb the ranks or you need to get a win, okay? Wait one more week on these Pies players and wait one more week on making the big primo trade because the likes of Rowan Marshall, Tom Stewart, Christian Petrarca, they're all going to be down in price next week. They're all going to be very affordable. And these are players which are proven stars who are going to be low 500s or even sub 500. Just wait one more week, people, okay? That was SuperCoach Slam. That was Slam Talk SuperCoach. My trades, once again, are going to be Elijah Sardis out, Tom Gross in, out, Jack Henderson in, Cleary from the Sydney Swans. Those are my 2 trades. No boost used this week, unless, of course, my team catches fire at 6:25 p.m., in which case I will be going down to St Kilda, lighting myself on fire and just going screaming, "Go Saints!" because that's what my life will have come to. I'll have no purpose, and SuperCoach will mean nothing to me. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll talk to you tomorrow for the round 6 preview, where we talk about what was a big game on Thursday night footy and give my predictions for the games ahead and give a bit of betting advice and just stare directly at a camera at you while you love it all, okay? See you all tomorrow. Love ya. Slam Talk Sports. You know where to find me. It is Easter weekend. Let's get some chockies.